great opportunity this coming Saturday against a top 10 team in Louisville. Very explosive on offense, very disruptive on defense. Top 5, top 10 statistically on defense in just about every single category, and offensively anywhere from top 5 to top 20 in every category as well. So a very complete team, a lot of good football players, and a great opportunity for us. And again, a day of really, really good preparation so far. So questions, please.
Mario, it was reported that Emery was having surgery today, and just wanted to know how he is, and first how he is, and then also when might he return to the team, even as an observer at practice or a game.
Emery's doing well. As you guys saw, he had a significant injury on Saturday. And obviously procedures, we keep those things to ourselves. What gets out there, but it's not really our doing. We keep that stuff private. He's doing great. He'll be full go for spring practice. And he's a tough guy. He really is a tough guy. This means a lot to him. Has the full support of his teammates. Saw him this morning, see him again here in a little bit. So very proud of him for his effort, and proud of him for the way he handled everything from the week itself to the game itself, and then dealing with his circumstances.
He's had a really good attitude, hasn't he? Yeah.
He's never had a bad day.
Yeah.
Never.
How poetic, probably the wrong word, but to get that substantially injured on a play where he had to get that last inch to give you guys a chance to keep that last drive on, just what does that say about that kid?
I think it says a lot about him. It says a lot about football. Football is the ultimate competitive opportunity in sport, and it could be unforgiving at times, right? It'll push you to your limits and beyond, and it's going to force you to deal with adversity, and you're going to have a breakthrough or you're going to have a breakdown. Guys like that, they find a way to break through, and to him, that's all he wanted to know, besides, being in a little bit of pain, did I get the first down? Did I get a first down? What's up with the replay, So he's, I think he embodies, like a lot of the guys that you guys have a chance to meet and speak with, just feel like the DNA is right, and the DNA is improving on a daily basis around here.
Reasonable to assume that it's a competition this week to figure out what you're going to do.
It's always reasonable, because we're going to compete every single week at just about every position, but Tyler is going to be the starting quarterback going in. Jakari is going to compete. Jakari is going to get a lot of reps, and he's a really good player. But
answer the question.
You've been very complimentary about Tyler.
I'm sorry, one more time.
I kind of wanted to ask you that, but you've been very complimentary about Tyler, through this whole thing, his struggles this year. Just the kind of zigzag of being the starter, getting sat down last week, coming back in the last drive of the game, now starting again on Saturday. How has he kind of handled that back and forth?
Being a quarterback at Miami is, you got to be tough. You got to have thick skin. You got to be a competitor. He's all that. He handled last week like a pro, which means disappointed, upset, really fought hard all week, and it was a great week of practice by both guys. In fact, at the end of the week, staff felt like, man, we've made a lot of progress. Felt like as a staff and as players together, we did a better job of putting things together, knowing it was going to be a difficult team to move the ball against, particularly through the air, where they had excelled. But because of his performance last week, because of his determination, his past successes, that's what your job as a coach is to provide clarity, remove the clutter, and make people better. He's done really, really well. He's handled everything really well, and he has the confidence of his teammates and the coaches.
I know it's been a year since we've seen Jakari on the field in a game, but what stands out, or what do you remember maybe about his performance against Georgia Tech last year, and how maybe has he developed since then?
He's developed in a lot of different ways as it relates to not only, everybody talks about he's a good athlete and whatnot, but he's developed as a passer. By that I mean going through his progression, being accurate with the football, understanding the offense, understanding how to get us in and out of plays, understanding of protections, because extending plays, yeah, some of it is natural, but some of it is understanding, okay, we're in a rough spot here. But if I could hang in there and use my eyes to pull this particular defender out so that I could find a way to get through, extend, maybe flatten out and get the ball down the field. I can't. He continues to evolve in that way. And, he played last year, and the whole thought going to this year is like, hey, if we could, with Tyler being the starting quarterback going into the season, if we could find a way to preserve a red shirt, we could. It would be great for all of us because he has such a bright future here at Miami. And then the last couple of weeks, it was kind of muddy, and Emory had received a lot of the preparation time. So that's the route we went to. So that being said, yeah, he continues to get better and better. He's got natural leadership skills. You saw some of it flash last year, like you mentioned, in the Georgia Tech game, both throwing the football, running the football, improvising, extending plays. And he'll be doing that all week in practice. Again, he's very much competing and working really hard.
Mario, speaking of another person who's been dealing with injuries for a long time now, Zion Nelson I haven't seen him dress or anything. Do you know what the situation is? Is he going to be able to get back on the field at some point in his career, or do you know what his status is going to be?
I think he is, and it's I know he's frustrated. He's a great human being, by the way, and obviously a really good football player as well. The nature of his injury just requires time, time and tweaks. And I can't get into specific detail as to what that is, but when you're a big body, you want to make sure you get it right, just because those guys have so much more stress, right? So much more power and force in all their movements. So we feel very confident that we're going to get there. It's certainly taken longer, than all of us would have ever wanted or expected. But whatever time it takes, we're willing to, for him, number one, right? You want to do what's best for the student athlete and for the team too, because the moment he gets healthy, he's an instant boon for our offensive line and for our team.
Being a head coach wasn't tough enough. There's always recruiting of players, and now you're in a season where head coaches are losing their jobs, and that means assistant coaches are going to get talked about and involved. And how much do you communicate with guys about opportunities that may or may not come their way? Is it something that you let them bring to you? Do you worry about when the merry-go-round starts at the year in college football? How do you handle it?
I mean, it's your job to help guys get an opportunity that if they really want it, because I've had great coaches that I've worked for that when something came about, they might give me a hard time, but if they knew it's something I wanted, they eventually would come around and help me out. So I do believe in that. And at the same time, it's no different than your organizational chart for your players. You keep one on coaches around the country and that thing evaporates quickly as well, right? It's a race, but it's a race where you have to be patient too, because sometimes you know the person and sometimes you might be on your chart where great reputation, pretty good statistically. I don't know them. How's this thing gonna fit? And a lot of the progress that we're having is because of the fit and the people. People that want to be here, people that are willing to work hard, that understand that, to go where we want to go, you have to be fully invested. And that's why, things are moving, in the direction, that we want to go, and understand we got to keep getting better and better and better. So this time of year, it's always crazy, always has been, always will be. I think you just deal. It's no different than a penalty on the field. Well, let me not go there. It's no different than a situation on the field that you got to handle, turnover or something else. You deal with it and you go.
Investment in all those things. You're also at the point of the year where it's not uncommon anymore in the sport to see a player say, I'm good, I'm going to protect my interests, whatever. Have you had anybody come to you and say that?
I've had it. I know that's, no one knows where college football is headed, right? It's just ever changing. I don't judge. Should those moments come and whatnot, and I've seen it happen before, I've experienced it before. You just don't judge. You just do whatever's best for the team. That's all that matters. At the end of the day, when you put your head down at night for the few minutes you get to put it down at night, you do it knowing that no matter what, at all costs, you're doing what's very best for the team. Nothing else can override that. Nothing.
You started I think it was five true freshmen this past week, and arguably, your biggest game of the season. What does that say about the opportunity you'll give to freshmen that earn it, and also about the foundation of where things are moving for the future?
Yeah, actually, Riley was in, I believe, series 2 or 3. We were planning on starting in 6. I think that's a couple things. Number one, confidence in them. 2, their development. 3, the caliber of players that we're bringing into the program, right? Which is Miami caliber players. That was always the case, right? And Miami should be littered with classes stacked like that. It's our first full class. They've worked hard. They've earned it. Some guys were here mid-year. Some guys got here in the summer. Mark Fletcher got here in the summer. Damari Brown got here in the summer. That's hard, to be able to turn that thing around and get the starting position. What CC plays, Francis, what he played, that's hard. I know he was here mid-year, but it's hard to go and play in that environment where you can't hear the snap count and you're going against, some guys that are 3rd, 4th, and 5th year players. So it's a testament to them. It's a testament to the leaders that have helped groom them, to their coaching as well, and to their commitment to preparation. So it's exciting. Call it what it is. We're always going to be very upset. We're going to be beyond just gut-wrenching pain when we don't achieve our goal. But the best way to describe the sentiment in the locker room is driven.
In your mind, how far has the team come compared to when you got here, just from a physical standpoint, winning more trench battles, tackling, and all that stuff?
Yeah, it's miles, stratospheres, really. You always want to see where you are in the trenches because that's the hardest part to develop. Because if you can't block or you can't knock back the line of scrimmage and tackle, that takes 2 or 3 years to develop. I know the portal has changed that some, right? You could find some more mature bodies, but you still have to hit on those bodies. And if any part of a roster is protected by programs, it's the trenches, right? Seldom do you see high-level trench guys, bounce around portal-wise. So that was an area that was just glaringly just lacking, and it showed up in short yardage goal line situations. A year ago, we couldn't run the ball very well, couldn't protect the passer very well, couldn't defend the run very well, and it starts up front. So, it's a tremendous turnaround in all phases, and not only an influx of talent, but also really player development. A lot of guys that had been here or just got here, they really worked hard to develop great core strength, great power, right? Hips, legs, upper body, striking, block destruction, unlocking hips, running feet through contact. So, kind of go off on a tangent there, but you know what I mean? It's the most important. It's the hardest part to develop. So we're really enthused about that progress there because that could lead to all the other stuff, And you look on Saturday, if you broke down the difference in the game statistically, the game's pretty even, right? There's a couple really mature portal skill guys that made some critical plays down the stretch, for the other team, and credit to them for doing that. You don't take that away from them. They've made those plays. Our guys are getting better, and we're going to keep finding ways to get better and keep finding ways to be more impactful and bring in more impactful guys at all positions.
You mentioned Damari, who had obviously a really important job starting in that game. How did you feel he and Jadis Richard played?
They were excellent. Those guys were excellent. Big, they're fast, they're physical, they're fearless. They did a really good job. And a lot of contested throws as well. Some of the timing, back shoulder things, those are hard, man. Those 9 stops, when that ball is thrown to a player with a catch radius is as big as you'll see in college or pro football. Those are hard, but those guys battled. They were physical. They never shied away, And the plays that they did give up were plays that, the other team had to scratch and claw for. So really proud of them, both of them. And really let them know, we all let them know, really proud of them for their efforts. Bright futures.
Please don't get fined for this one, but have you gotten an explanation on the safety, and do you expect an explanation on the safety? wasn't going to ask you if it was a safety.
Let's catch a little Cuban coffee later this week or something like that. You know, figure it out.
With Jacoby George and that type of game,
Yeah.
in your coaching career, what can that type of game do in terms of confidence and development moving forward?
I love that guy, man. That guy is, he's developing so much, and I've said it before. I'm going to push him hard because he's got carries a lot of responsibility. He really is an awesome young man, and he's a guy that sky's the limit. And the more he develops, the more you're going to see that of him. He's got great wiggle. He's got unbelievable balance, body control, and he can track the ball. And when you have a game like that against a secondary in tough situations like that long one, I don't know if you saw the way he leaned into it, laid hands, and then still through some obstruction found a way to catch it. It's high level stuff. That route down there, the delayed fade down at the goal line, that's hours and hours and reps of practice. So it's great to see that pay off for him and for the quarterback and for the offense. So it's something great to build off of. I think the more confidence guys get when they touch the ball like that and make plays, the more you could build off of that. And hopefully, we intend to see more and more from him and the rest of that receiving crew.
Do you ever get caught thinking that yesterday you were 2-0, you were 2 games in the season, and today there's 2 games left in the regular season? It shows like that. Does it seem that way? I know you live and breathe every second of every day, but does it seem like the season just flies?
I don't know if I've thought that far, that deep in advance, man. Right now it's like, we're on, third down and red zone and chopping away at that stuff and formational stuff and really studying their personnel. There's how much I love ball. I mean, I live and die this stuff. So for me, it's just everything is geared towards how can we help our team be successful? How can we help make Miami better? How can we find a way to keep progressing? How can we continue to move the program forward, eliminate issues, eliminate penalties? That just doesn't stop. So that eats up every second of the day. There's no personal time.
I know Henry Parrish has been kind of limited since the UNC game. Didn't play last week. What his status is going to be going forward?
I think he'll be healthy enough this week. I mean, he was healthy enough to play. Just didn't look like he was up to full speed, and the other guys were. Same thing with AJ. Felt that they were 2 days away, 3 days away. Like they were right at the cusp, and those other guys were running the ball really well. So we went with those guys.
Thanks,
Guys, thank you.
Thank you.